Hello, everyone. We will continue with our sessions, and the next one that we have is the Idea Lab competition will also have that will also have a discussion on communications and greenwashing. Um, so we will get started in another 2-3 minutes because this session overran a bit. So just stay tuned, whether you're on Facebook Live or on Zoom, and we'll get started in 2 minutes. Thank you. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Hi, I can see Emily, Martin, Sevan, Stephen. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I think we're waiting for Lauren, if I'm not wrong.
Hi, Mayor. Yes, he was in the backstage. He should be joining.
Oh, okay, perfect. Let me check.
Looks like
we also have some of our teams joining who will be pitching later. Hey, Thomas. Hi, Carolina.
Hi.
Could I ask you guys, the participants, to keep your cameras off till the discussion is over? And could I ask the participants to keep the cameras off till the discussion is over? And then I will give you guys a prompt so that you can come in. Thanks a lot, guys. Lauren is here, but we can't see him somehow. Okay, Lauren, can you hear me, Lauren? Okay. Cool, perfect. So I think everyone is in, so we can get started. I can't see everyone on the screen though. Stephen, can you? Okay, I can see Martin now. Again.
Yeah. Devon, if you want to take off, you can join video.
Yeah, you can join video. Everyone can join the video. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and Emily.
I was mentioning that only for the teams which are pitching, so that we can have the discussion and then followed by that. So thanks to everyone for joining us. We have a big panel, which is a judging panel and a discussing panel in this very interesting session. My name is Mayur. I'll be your host. Stephen on the screen will be moderating this session. And what I'll quickly do is take 2 minutes to give you a bit of background on MetaWest as well as the Step Up Festival and what we're trying to do. So I and Diane, we are the co-founders of MetaWest, wherein we are basically trying to help and empower you to manage your money in a sustainable and a better way. So that's what we're looking to do. And you can, of course, find more details about MetaWest on our website. We organized the Step Up Festival because what we wanted to do was we wanted different stakeholders in sustainable finance to come onto one stage and work together towards the agenda of making sustainable finance mainstream. We are 10 years away from 2030. We are nowhere close to the SDG targets that has been set up. So what we felt was there is a need for everyone to initiate a dialogue and integrate you and me, who in the financial world will be called retail investors, into sustainable finance to accelerate this development. And that's where the name Step Up comes in, that we need to step up our efforts. We need to step up our collective approach towards sustainable development. So we've had a range of discussions yesterday as well as today. We have a session right after this on sustainable pensions in the EU. Of course, this would not be possible without the huge array of support from speakers. Apart from 6 people that you see on your screen, there are many more who have supported us through yesterday and today to be a part and to have an open discussion on topics related to sustainable finance and sustainability. So let me just throw out the agenda and then I'll pass the screen to Stephen to kickstart the discussion. So we will have a discussion over here for 25 minutes, followed by the pitches on Idea Lab. When we get to that, I will give a brief introduction to you guys about what the Idea Lab was all about and who the finalists are. And then at the end of the session, we will have the winners and the announcement. Throughout the sessions, if you have questions, suggestions, please feel to ask. The Idea Lab, when the pitching happens, there are two teams which will be pitching. Please do check out the chat window. We will be also having an audience poll in addition to the judges polling. So you are as much a part of deciding who wins this as anyone else is. And so yeah, so please participate. That's the main idea. So with that, I will just pass it to Stephen to moderate the session and kickstart the discussion. Stephen, over to you.
Awesome, Mayor, and thank you so much for giving us the introduction of Mattervest. I'm very happy to be here again, supporting your startup and the agenda that you have. I really think it's very important. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Stephen. I am calling you in from Boston in the United States. I wish I was on the beach, but I am happy to be here this morning and being able to learn from you all. As Mayor said, we're going to have a quick little conversation with our panelists to get to know them a little bit before they judge our contestants. So I'm a student of sustainability. I'm a master's student and learning a lot about the topics of conversation today. We have two pitches from two teams discussing sustainable communication and greenwashing. So we have a great set of speakers here to guide us through their presentations. We have Sevan from Solfin, Martin from Ecoligo, Emily from IHOF, and Laurent from Active Giving. And I'd love to hear from you guys a little bit about who you are, your background, just very short, very brief, and tell us a little bit about what it was that attracted you to this competition. Like, what is it about the topic that, Sevan, how about you go first?
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephen. Hi everyone. So my name is Sevan Hollemans. I'm currently based in Brussels, where I grew up, basically. I'm a social entrepreneur at first. So I launched my first startup in urban agriculture and circular economy in 2014. And since then, now I'm managing director of Solifin. And Solifin is a member-based organization which now have about 19 members, which are actors active in ethical and responsible finance here in Belgium. And what's my main mission is definitely to foster collaboration between those members. So currently we have 20 members, ranging from banks to investment funds, private, public, also crowdfunding platforms, foundations and credit institutions. And one of our mission is to foster co-investment within those members to better fund impact companies, but also bring more skills and knowledge to the early stage startup for them to reach a bigger impact in the future. And Stefan, no, it's just an introduction, or should I start speaking about how am I related to the two topics of today?
How about we just do a quick round of introductions and then we'll come back. And Sevan, you can start with what you think about the topic for today. Great to meet you and looking forward to hearing more about your company. Martin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yes, so I'm one of the two founders of Ecoligo. My background is actually the solar industry. I've worked in the solar industry for the past 15 years. And with Ecoligo, we're addressing one of the issues that the solar industry was facing, which was a lack of finance for solar projects in emerging markets. And we are solving that by having built our own crowd investing platform, ecoligo.investments, where we particularly attract private individuals that want to channel their capital, their money into a sustainable project and support this project and support, obviously, CO2-free energy production in emerging markets that, besides saving CO2 emissions, also have the impact of sustainable growth. And we've been around for 4 years and have been quite successful in attracting I think by now 6.7 million euro in funding for these projects. So very happy to see that a lot of people seem to have an interest in sustainable finance.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I know the financing part is important, as a couple solar projects are wanting to happen in Jamaica, where I'm from. But, you know, in small islands and developing states, it's hard to find that. Great, nice to meet you. Emily, you want to tell us about yourself?
Hi, I'm Emily Allard. I'm working at the Loft, which stands for the Luxembourg House of Financial Technology. We have been created 3 years ago, and we are actually helping fintech to set up in Luxembourg and soft land in Europe via Luxembourg. Why I'm related to sustainable finance is mainly because from the start of the Loft, we decided that there is much more than Europe and the traditional finance, and we wanted to work as well on financial inclusion. So for 3 years now, we've been running a Kickstarter program on financial inclusion all around the world. We welcome 10 to 15 companies each year to help them grow and achieve the next steps for their business. And due to that, I've also recently studied on climate and renewable energy finance to know more about the topic and see what we can do to help save our planet in the future and give a nice gift to our kids. And I'm also working now on the development of Green FinTech Kickstarter program.
Really cool, really, really cool. Yeah, these startup programs are essential. Getting you know, young people ideas. Maybe some of our panelists here will have an idea that they'll bring to you after they give their pitch today. Lauren.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Laurent. I'm originally from Belgium, but I'm currently based in Berlin, Germany. And I'm one of the co-founders of Active Giving, which is a platform that engages individuals in physical activities while contributing to reforestation projects. So we launched an app early this summer. And basically what the app does is that it tracks your physical activity, like fitness. It could be running, cycling, yoga, different types of workout. And the app turns your workout into fundings for different nonprofit projects. And this works with the help of different, we call them like sponsors, from which we generate revenues from sponsor logo placement in our app itself. And then we use those revenues to fund environmental projects. So it's been really interesting summer because we launched in June and we already have like 5,000 users, mainly in Germany, but extended to Europe. And we already have an interest from different countries and continents. So yeah, we are really happy to be, you know, supporting both personal well-being as well as the global well-being.
Yeah, that's really cool. When you make it to the US, please let me know. I know a lot of my friends have been exercising now that quarantine is happening.
Well, we should talk then, but
all
later.
Right. Well, guys, we are about 2 minutes out before the first pitch. So I'd love to hand it over to one to what we are going to be talking about, which is sustainable communication and greenwashing. Sevan, I'm going to pick on you since you had the most time to prepare. Could you just give us 1 or 2 sentences about the topics that we're going to hear, kind of related maybe to what you do or sustainable finance in general?
Sure. So yeah, the first topic is about greenwashing, and I'll say that we relate to this. It's a key topic for us here in impact investing, in the impact investing sector. What we see is that often our members are either sometimes from the left side of the spectrum. We are sometimes seen as doing impact washing ourselves, like people are questioning how we measure impact, and are actually our members just funding any project, or are they really digging into the impact of the project they're funding? Are they aggregating the impact at the portfolio level? Aren't they just doing anything? So this question is often raised, and we as Solifin, as a network, we're trying to help our members basically get more professional in the way they manage the impact. And it's very important to communicate. And this is the second topic of today, is how do we communicate on the sustainability of our activity. And those two topics are pretty much linked. They're linked also by the fact that today, I mean, my topic is more impact investing, so it's a little bit less ESG investing, and but at the more micro level, we struggle really getting the right data, because often we deal with very early stage startups, and they often don't have the human resources to collect the right data, or things are not in place yet into their organization. So it's not often easy to be able to communicate, to report, to collect the data, to report, and to communicate it fairly. These two topics are pretty much intertwined. They are at the center of our activities, and there's still a lot of things to improve into our practices to be able to actually step up via the movement for sustainable finance and reach out to larger audiences.
Thank you, Savan. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a great introduction. So we will get the pitch competition going right now. I'm going to hand it to Mayor, who's going to key up the first team.
Perfect. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks a lot, guys, for the introductions. For the judges as well as the audience, we'll be sending you a link in the chat, which you can use for scoring, which is a basic type form. And then we can, our backstage team can do the scoring. But what I wanted to do was, for the purpose of the audience as well as judges, just give you a brief background on why we did this. So we always wanted to have this track called ACT during Step Up, in which you can take action. And in this case, action is leading to a lot of learning for these students who've been working on this. So basically, there were two case studies that were given. This is, we've been working on the Idea Lab for the last 2.5 months, actually. So we have had multiple workshops for them to fine tune, understand the topic. The first team that would be coming actually would be talking about the case of, sorry, my slides have got interchanged, but basically the first team that is coming would be talking about how do you communicate sustainable finance to retail investors. And the second team will be talking about a case of greenwashing, which is regarding Volkswagen. So those are the two different cases that we had, and these are the two finalists of these cases. The whole process, as I said, started in July, and we released the business cases. We had workshops with a lot of attendees, and which led to final pitching rounds and the final pitch today. So the judging is going to be done, and this is relevant for attendees as well as judges. There are 5 parameters that we have shortlisted. There's a scoring which is going to be done by judges, which has a 60% weightage. And then there's scoring from the attendees. So all of you who are listening to this, which has a 40% weightage. So with that, I would request Rohit and Roberta, if you could unmute yourself, start your video, as well as start sharing your screen with the presentation. So, and then we can start get started. So the pitches would be 10 minutes long, 7 minutes for the pitch, followed by 3 minutes of Q&A.
Sure. Thank you.
Rohit, let me know when you're ready to start.
Okay, just a second.
Okay, hi everyone. Our topic is communication.
Can I get a minute? Just some. Yeah.
Are we ready to start now?
Roberta, you can begin now.
Okay. So hi everyone. Our topic is communication issues related to sustainable finance. And before we start, we'd like to introduce ourselves. So this is Roberta speaking. I'm from Romania. I'm a second-year student at University of Warwick, currently undergraduate at
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I'm Rohit. I'm from India, and I'm a recent graduate from Indian Institute of Technology in India. where I've done my graduation in applied geophysics. Now handing over to Roberta.
Thank you, Rohit. So our case study is about a financial technology company called Planet Invest, which is currently in the seed phase. And it was founded in 2018. The company itself is planning to create a chat box able to guide users into investing and saving sustainably. So the product currently now is planned to be launched at the end of 2020, and the target is the 25 up to 45 years old based in Europe. And the product has already got some early traction as shown by the social media engagement graph down below. And one of the goals are using market size estimation through market research, then deciding on how to communicate about sustainable finance in general, and then creating a marketing strategy to develop our product market fit to reach 10,000 users by the end of 2020. So for our market size estimation, right now we found out that 26% of the population in Europe are the people aged 25 to 45. So that is currently the target population size equal to 190 million. Out of that, 10% are the percentage of people investing in the UK and other European countries, creating a total market size of 19 million. Out of that, and we were given this in a case study, 64% accepted a hypothetical 5% trade-off of their total returns in order to invest sustainably. So 64% are willing to invest sustainably. So 64% out of 19 million gives us a total available market without the action intention gap, making it equal to 12 million. And our estimation for the action intention gap was 67% out of 12 million, giving us a total target market of 8 million.
Thank you, Roberta. So after estimating the market size, which is of 8 million, after incorporating the action intention gap, we go ahead and try to understand the landscape of sustainable finance, which is critical to communication. So what is sustainable finance? So removing all the jargons aside, importantly, simply put, sustainable finance refers to when we are investing, taking into consideration factors and values which are important to us as persons, which are environmental, social, and governance. Although ESG is also one of the rating parameters for sustainability, but it is easy to understand in this way if you break down each category and see how we can relate to different factors. Now, sustainable finance in Europe, it is not mainstream yet. Why? Because European household savings represent over 40% of total financial assets in the EU 51, and this is mainly financed by companies which do not have any obligation to adhere to laws or be sustainable in their actions. That is why sustainable finance is not yet mainstream in Europe. There is still increasing scope for sustainable finance. And why is that? This is because as we are progressing ahead in time, the global demand for food, energy, and water is driving and pushing companies to move apart from business as usual scenarios and come up with innovative solutions, incorporating sustainability into their plan. And this is helping in redirecting capital flows towards companies with high sustainability ratings. And there are a lot of sustainability ratings out there, but still it is a shift towards positivity. Now, the biggest dilemma that people face by investing sustainably is the dilemma of high transaction costs. Then how we can counter that? We can counter that by sharing information. And in this aspect, companies like us, Planet Invest, will facilitate this process in a much better way by simplifying things. And opportunity cost. People often get short-sighted by seeing that the regular companies are giving better returns in short term, but since people in Europe prefer to invest in low-risk securities and think about long-term, we can think of a situation where we can drive them to invest in sustainable assets to get a long-term return. And also, the transaction costs are decreasing with time, and someday it will be competitive with the transaction cost of regular products. Now, 25 to 45 is the age group where many people start investing for the first time. So there's a transition from customer to investor. The best thing about these millennials are that they have less brand loyalty. They are thinking about increasing their allocation to sustainable investment, and particularly they are trying to relate their financial values to their real life values, which makes them more conscious and gives them emotional benefits. And also they have higher spending power, which has the power to drive market shifts. Now, after identifying the customer traits, we move to customer acquisition. Here, we are trying to follow an inbound service framework where we will try to uh, transition our customer from a customer to a promoter, engagement, guidance, and growth. Now, how we will engage our customers? We will engage our customers through three main processes, mainly creating a brand persona, investor, which will be like a financial advisor, which will have traits similar to our target age group and will be more relatable. Having a heavy online presence with weekly newsletters, social media campaigns, online polls, quizzes, webinars, etc. And most importantly, free product trials so that people get a taste of what our product is and how it will actually help them before actually investing in this Planet Invest app, like Netflix and Spotify very famously do, and they have shown remarkable growth due to this. Now, this is the most important aspect. We don't want this process to be boring, so we are trying to gamify this whole experience. Where like rating companies, we'll be rating individuals and telling them how sustainably they are investing personally. And with that, we will understand their individual preference, help them set their goal, and also help them in tracking it in real time so that they can constantly update their investments and align it more with their values. Now, critical to this whole process is customer service. Most people now want immediate response, and if they don't get immediate response, they plan to shift to other companies. Now we have introduced help desk and investor. These will act as tools and reduce the burden on our customer reps and executives because the company is initially short on HR. Now, the growth of customer base. The customer base will be growth basically using customer advocacy because this will help in organic growth using testimonials, referrals, and gift cards. And most of the people believe in that. Third-party tools will be leveraged by leveraging the network that will form by activating founders, shareholders, and giving them our product for review so that we can reach out to other people's audience and tap into that. So summing it up, how we will reach 10,000 users, we will basically use agile strategy, which will be used for implementation, which is based on continuous experimentation and adaptation. As you can see, communication will be used for attraction, then we will engage, guide through the product. It will not be a static workflow, it will be a dynamic workflow with short and intermediate targets so that in the vision of long-term target, we are not lost in between and we can constantly update our process if something is not working along the path. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Really great job and very interesting setup with your marketing plan. Let's have two questions from the jury. Whoever wants to go first, jump on in. And to the audience, just so you know, there is a link in the chat where you can go and rate Rohit and Roberta's presentation. Laurent, I see you raising your hand.
Yes, actually I have a question. Understand exactly what is the solution that or product that you or service that you would be offering?
So basically, the solution lies in the gamifying experience that we are saying. So basically, the communication part and all that follow what is all is happening. Like some people understand sustainable finance, some don't. But how we offer against in the personal investment habits. So when I talked about gamifying the whole experience, there we will rate individuals on how aligned their individual goals are with their financial goals. In that, we will give them some rating, which will give them an idea where do they actually stand, where do they actually stand in being a sustainable investor, and that way we will set goals for them and help them, give them different options of investment, different options of how they can redirect their funds. So that is the whole essence. All other things like communication, engagement, customer service is a support, is in support of that.
Okay, and this would be made through a mobile app?
Yes, it will be through an app.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have another question. We have a question from the. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Savan.
A very small question, but it was like a question regard to the market size calculation. I was just wondering, at some point you calculate, so from the base of people ranging from 25 to 45 years old, then it was the investor size. What criteria did you take to assess who is investing or not? On which basis did you calculate the investor part of the population?
Okay, so basically, these were based on some preliminary survey results that was given to us as part of the case study. So basically, I followed a simple workflow where first I identified the total people in that age group. Then, based on some estimates that I got, that how many people are actually investing in that age range, that is 10%. There were two parameters. One is that there are a certain number of people who always say that they are willing to invest, that they are willing to accept a hypothetical trade-off. That almost 2/3 people in that survey told that. But then there is actual an action intention gap that is mentioned in the slide, which is people often say something but don't actually follow up on that. Now that we accounted for by seeing how many people directly relate or directly want to impact environment or society through their investing habits. In fact, we found that only 43% of total investors, so that amounted to 67% of the people who are actually saying they are willing to invest sustainably, but only 2/3 of them may cross that action intention gap and actually invest sustainably. So that's how we came across that based on the survey results that were given to us in the case study. So this is a crude estimate. This may vary because you don't know how people change their mind, how several external factors. But this is the safe estimate. We didn't go with 12 million because there is often a large discrepancy when you actually go about it, because people often don't say what they do. So we encountered some other factor like how many people directly relate to those concerns, and that accounted for 2/3 of that 12 million figure. And then that is how we reached on the final figure of 8 million of our total target market, which is incorporating the action intention gap.
Great. Thank you, Rohit. So that was a great presentation, Rohit and Roberta. Thank you so much for giving that. Let's start to hand it over to our second pitch team, which is made up of Carolina, Thomas, and Celine. I'll hand it to you guys.
Yeah, guys, before you get started, can I have the judges to finish the voting if you've not finished it? And everyone in the audience for team 1, if you could just wrap it up. So guys, you can use this time to get set up and share your screen.
Okay. So works. Okay, I'll try to do it with my camera on. I hope the quality of the video is not going to be impaired in any way. Yeah.
It's okay right now. Just, Celine, can you give me a minute before we get started?
Yeah.
I'll give you a signal.
Just tell me when you're ready,
Sure.
and then I'll start.
Perfect, Celine, you can get started now.
Okay. So hello, everyone. We're going to present you a communication plan for Volkswagen that would have turned around for things for the company after the Dieselgate scandal in 2014. So I'm Celine, and I've worked together with Carolina and Thomas, and with expertise in economics, sustainability, and mechanical engineering. We were given the task to describe the type of greenwashing Volkswagen put into place when they manipulated the software in the diesel engines, and to give reasons why they behaved this way. And as a centerpiece of our work, we developed an innovative and global communication strategy that would have helped to transition Volkswagen to a veritable sustainable company instead of just applying greenwashing. So the agenda fits with these tasks that we were given with a conclusion. So I'll jump right into the identification part. Volkswagen has not only been inactive with respect to sustainability, but they have manipulated the perception of their products. And that's why Siano et al. Call this kind of behavior deceptive manipulation. It pushes the limits of the taxonomy that we know of greenwashing so far. And Siano et al. Claim in their research paper from 2017 that it is due to the high sustainability goals that Volkswagen has set for themselves, but they have failed to instill veritable sustainable values in their employees and in the mindsets of the employees and in their company structure. And due to that, the only way to close the gap for the employees was an unethical behavior by breaching the law, violating the law. And this approach to seeing Volkswagen is based on communicative constitution of organizations, which means that communicate externally builds up expectations in the market and from your consumers and will fall back to you, especially if you're not able to meet the high expectations and fulfill your promises. And moreover, and more importantly, it affects your what your employees think and how they operate within your company. And this important key insight is one of the basics of our new communication plan. And Lena is going to give you further insights on other reasons why Volkswagen applied greenwashing instead of a sustainable approach.
Thank you very much, Celine. So after we identified the type of greenwashing put into place by Volkswagen, we asked ourselves the reason why it came to such an outrage. Numerous factors had become an issue. On the one hand, there was the fact that Volkswagen wanted to increase its profit in order to satisfy shareholder expectations and to be the leading automaker worldwide. On the other hand, new regulations on emissions levels were implemented and Volkswagen led towards way too ambitious sustainability goals. Adding to that, it was much cheaper to introduce a software technology that manipulated the emission levels than changing the whole engine without refusing in the efficiency of the engines and accordingly the speed of the cars. But generally, Volkswagen was too ambitious in its sustainability goals. You can see this in the annual report 2014, just before the scandal was published. Afterwards, we wondered about how a better communication plan would look like in order to gain back Volkswagen's reputation without making use of greenwashing, but still leading towards a more sustainable administration and management. The strategy we developed is all about driving sustainable consciousness. Our principles stand in for radical transparency, strong relationships with Volkswagen stakeholders, a communicative constitution of organizations, CCO, and a strong environmental awareness. This is the way to success. Our communication plan starts from 2015, the year after the diesel scandal, to the present. First, we're gonna put a lot of effort into raising and establishing internal awareness and values, and all further actions will build up on that. Thomas will go on detail.
Oh, thank you. Carolina, I will now describe each year in more detail. Could you please go back 2 slides?
Yeah.
First, in 2015, we have to raise internal awareness for sustainable practices within the Volkswagen Group. we have to establish a sustainable culture and engage employees to reduce their CO2 footprint by themselves. In 2016, the aim is to develop sustainable processes into the Volkswagen Group. That means that we have to embrace new supply chains and change the goals in the engine development towards less car emissions. Internally, we'll measure the environmental impact with a governance report system. Through the CCO strategy, changes have to be executed internally first. That's why our communication plan will not launch the changes externally until the end of 2017. During this year, we start to promote sustainable mobility in general. We support car recycling, advertise alternative engines, and show the impacts of fossil-driven cars. In 2018, we start to communicate the changes externally to the stakeholders. At sustainable conferences and especially in media, all internal mentioned changes are disclosed to the public. A new balance sheet with sustainability metrics is revealed to society to show all stakeholders that Volkswagen has advanced on many different levels. To finish the communication strategy within the Volkswagen Group, we will rebrand Volkswagen. The sketched logo shows that all vehicles of the brand now have a green leaf attached. The values of the staff changed. The engineers now developed electric or hydrogen cars because they have the internal needs to promote sustainable mobility. A green corporate attitude is, in our opinion, the way towards the perception of VW as a sustainable brand. To sum up our communication plan, it's all about raising internal awareness for sustainability, because just people who see an urgent problem can solve it. Due to the Dieselgate scandal, we advise a radical transparency communication strategy to gain trust. We want to nudge people to buy alternative engines and to avoid unrealistic sustainable strategy goals. That is our proposal for a communication plan to change a global car maker towards more sustainability. Thank you for your attention. We are now open for your feedback and questions.
Great job, team 2. Yeah, Q&A time. Who in our jury would love to quiz these guys? Martin, yeah, take it away.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much for the presentation. You basically build up your plan on you know, the internal side of Volkswagen, really convincing the staff. Now, all of your measures obviously cost some money, and my question would be, what is and how do you convince them to actually fund this ambitious plan?
That's a good point, but we thought about clearly communicating to the shareholders as they've seen. If Volkswagen continued as they've done in 2014, the share values are falling as well. So we need to become sustainable in order to be successful. So it's the main strategy, and producing diesel engines is not like, it's not a long-term strategy. And we aim at like communicating a lot with shareholders and introducing them in the process of changing the company values towards sustainability, so that they know we try to be sustainable in order to be successful in the long run, because you cannot be successful with diesel engines in the long run. If you look at our climate change, if you look at consumers' attitudes are changing, everyone wants to be like, most people want to live sustainably. Like, there's a change in attitudes and mindsets nowadays, especially in Europe, in the US. So it's like communicating a long-term strategy and involving stakeholders and shareholders as well.
I may add that I think after diesel scandals, also shareholders will see that changes have to be executed internally as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Emily?
Yeah, that was a good point raised by Martin, that you actually mentioned mainly the internal communication, but a lot of damages was done as well on the brand of Volkswagen. So even if the shareholders and the stakeholders are quite happy with how you communicate and change the way you're doing, still the branding and the reputation of the brand is damaged. So there was maybe something to be done there. And also maybe a lot of communication on the diesel, because there is a lot of discussion on how bad it is. But right now, if you take, for example, SUVs, then they are as bad even if they are just normal fuel, not diesel. So maybe there is something to be done as well on the type of vehicles to be used. What do you think?
Yeah, we mentioned that on one slide. There's like that with these internal changes, and that we would like to change the values of Volkswagen internally. Also, the developers, the engine developers of Volkswagen Group would raise the awareness to develop these kind of electric or hydrogen cars as well, and make the change internally, so they're not meeting the shareholder values just because they have to. They also want it because they see the point that these changes have to happen to drive towards a good world for our children and all the other people around the world. So I think we put it, and to rebrand, it's a long-term goal, and that needs some things first. I think so.
The point was too that. Oh, sorry.
Please, Lena.
Yeah, the point was too that we had, like, our task was doing a communication plan, so it was not including to change what Volkswagen was doing, and that was the kind of struggle to us, just to think about how to make a communication plan without including greenwashing. And that's the first we thought about was to go into marketing, but then we saw the issue that we would go just through greenwashing again. So we decided to make more changes and raise the awareness internally, and that the communication internally, that would be the point where things could change too, if the employees inside of Volkswagen would be more aware about the problem and about sustainability.
Thank you.
That's great. All right. If anyone, is there a short last question before we finish up the judging? Okay, so panelists and attendees, you've both been given a link to finalize judging. Please complete that now. When all of the jury is done judging, we can have a little wrapping up discussion as Mayor tabulates the votes in the background for our exciting announcement in a few minutes. Okay, so judges, when you get a chance, give me a thumbs up if you're done voting. All right, we're that. So attendees, please finish up. Mayor, it looks like everyone is done. So when you get the announcement, please come back and let us know. Yeah, big round of applause to Carolina, Thomas, Celine, Rohit, and Roberta. Good job, guys. I'm really impressed with your presentations and what you organized while dealing with coronavirus, while doing all of this virtually. Like, case studies can be tough in person, so doing this here. I wanted to give us a little response. How was the preparation process? What did you think about it?
At least for me, it was pretty fun because I had the chance to work together with my friends on a cool topic. and to get familiar with it. So I enjoyed it a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you,
Rohit.
Celine. That's really nice. No, it was quite fun, and I have never done something with communication, and so it was new for me, and it was quite interesting. And that paper Celine raised with CCO made me thinking a lot more about company communication, because I think it's really important part also in the in the picture of greenwashing and also sustainability.
Yeah, with a cool new approach on sustainable finance, like from another perspective, I would say.
Yeah, like it was a great experience for me. I come from a tech background, so like finance was something very new to me. Like I have heard sustainable and finance separately, but this was like bringing these two things, like both of these are new to me. So I came here to like maybe learn something new, and hopefully I did learn something new. And it was interesting working with someone very far apart. Like I'm in India, my partner is in Europe, in Romania. So it was interesting managing that dynamics, and particularly the new topic. Yeah, it was really great.
Well, you did a great job, Rohit. Awesome, awesome, guys. Jury, I'd love to hear a little bit from you guys. What did you think of the whole process and their presentations in general?
Yeah, maybe I can start. I think it's quite interesting that you know, the Volkswagen case, you know, being a real world example where we also see what the company actually did after the diesel gate, was developed in the way it was presented by the team, because I think it's very easy on like a case like this to just go and look, okay, what have they done, and just make a copy of that in a little bit cleaner way. But the team actually sort of really thought about a comprehensive new way on how to do it. So that I felt was really good, because the diesel scandal was like one of the big topics that everyone was following, right? Because of the sheer size of the impact of it. So I found that interesting to see that like a complete new approach was taken.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay, so we gotta take a few more minutes to wrap up with calculations to get the judging jury. I know I'm on the edge of my seat. This is kind of exciting. I kind of want to have like a little panel or something to pop up, like an animation or something for the winners. We'll have to make it a little game showy or something like that. You know, one thing that kind of stuck with me regarding this, as we think about sustainable finance and as we think about how do we communicate this, is that there is a real challenge that's faced in like creating a business plan, engaging with your audience, with your potential clients, and being true to those mission values. And I kind of saw that happening in both presentations. Of there's a dynamic where you need to accomplish something, but also use and communicate effectively. You know, jury members, I'd love to hear a little bit more about, you know, some of your background, and maybe some advice on how do we relate that to the case studies.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I wanted to congratulate both team as well, and especially Rohit and Roberta, who have worked from a long distance. I think it was a main challenge. And about the second team on Dieselgate, I think you mentioned, I think, the most important point, which is for us transparency. I mean, this is the basic of everything we are aiming to do. At least if we could have more transparency in the way people are investing their money, in the way they are just dealing with those kind of regulations. I mean, transparency is key, and we can come up with a lot of measurements and technical ways to measure the impact and stuff. But if people are not willing to be transparent, I mean, there is no way we will get out of this and be able to reach out to the larger public. So you mentioned it quite quite well during your presentation, and yeah, I just wanted to stress this because this is for us, even within the impact sector, this is still a challenge and it's not an achieved one. So we still need to convince people to be more transparent and stopping to hide, to have this culture of hiding everything when it comes to money and to financial consequences. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention this transparency, and it's really deep with what we do.
Okay, guys, are you ready? Can I get a little drum roll, please? All right, are you guys ready? Mayor, you want to say it?
Go ahead, Stephen, all yours. Let's not do this for any longer. It's anyways nervous enough for them.
Yes, we're ready. We're ready. I know you guys are. Thank you very much for participating. We have the scores in. Team 1 scored 11.85 and teams 2 scored 13.45. So our winner is Team 2. Congratulations. Great job, guys. We will be sharing the results individually so you can see the detailed score, get a little background of how you all did on the different categories. Thank you so much for participating. Great job. To Rohit and Roberta, good job on your presentations. Carolina, Thomas, and Celine. Thank you so much to our jury. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here and to talk to you. It's really nice.
Great. Congratulations, guys. I think the idea of it was, of course, learning a bit, but there are prizes and awards which we'll communicate to you directly about since you guys were asking about it. Rohit, Roberta, I think great job. I saw the presentation 2 days back since I've been coaching you guys. I think it was a great improvement over that. But the idea is not on scoring, but the idea is to keep improving always, which is at the base of what we are all trying to do. With that, I would try to wrap up this session. And I would like to thank all our judges for coming in, Martin, Sevan, Emily, Laura. Thanks a lot for taking time out from your schedules and coming for this. I think this is something which we'll be doing again and again, and we want you guys to be more involved in it as well, because we realize that one of the ways of changing the way people think about sustainable finance is through student movements and get people interested in this topic early on so that the debates and the discussions start early on. And I think that is very, very, very critical. And I know Stephen is doing a great job of it based in his university and through ICOS. And that's why I wanted Stephen to be a part of this discussion as well, because the change has to come from within. And that's what we are trying to do with the Idea Labs. And so, yeah, but thanks a lot for being here. To everyone in the audience who's tuning in either right now or has been through us since morning, we will in another 7 minutes or 8 minutes get started with our next session, which is on pensions and sustainable finance. So do keep with us, and what we will do is we'll just take a quick break and be back with you guys. And to everyone in the judging panel, thanks a lot for joining us.